Okay, hi everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Sean Kerr. I come from the AMD Cloud Business Unit. I'm super excited to be with you all to have Stefanie Lemon from the Microsoft product team also join us. And we're going to give an overview of the AMD-based offerings in Azure, talk a little bit about what they are, where they play, what solutions they provide, and then some of the performance and cost and price performance benefits of those. So kind of the backdrop of this is that every show that I go to, every Ignite, we have fans of AMD. Perhaps they're using AMD for their personal computers. Perhaps they're using Azure. But they don't necessarily know where AMD is actually available in Azure and what the benefits are of using AMD for that. So that's kind of what we're trying to go over here. So if we can go ahead and move to the next slide. Just to set up briefly the stage, some of the problems that we're seeing in the marketplace today. We're seeing a trend towards optimization. Of course, cost optimization with budgets being tight, as well as performance optimizations. Customers are looking to get more out of their virtual machine infrastructure. We're seeing customers that are starting to use new workloads like AI for their environments, such as summarizing documents or using chatbots or training models, for example. So we're seeing this need to optimize the general purpose infrastructure and then use some of those cost optimizations to reinvest those into AI environments. And so we have solutions that we're going to talk about here that kind of serve both of those needs, help to cost optimize on general purpose databases, data analytics, web serving, those types of applications. And then on the AI side, we have solutions that are really run the gamut from high-end multi-billion parameter models all the way to kind of small and medium language models that we can serve with our EPYC-based solutions in Azure. So we're going to go over both of those, and happy to answer any questions, by the way, at the end if you have them. We can go ahead and move to the next one. This is a ton of products here that we've enabled with Azure. And so again, many people are not aware of the breadth of the portfolio of AMD EPYC-based solutions in Azure. And what you'll see here is we cover everything from general purpose all the way to visualization to HPC, high-performance computing solutions, storage optimized, accelerated solutions using GPUs, and more. So we really are widely adopted by Microsoft for their internal workloads like Microsoft 365 and Teams and other open AI, other initiatives that they're doing. And we're available as third-party offerings for end customers to use to get better value out of their environments as well. So really excited with this partnership that we have with Azure and developing this over the years. We can move to the next slide. And one other thing that's really blossomed over the years with Microsoft is, we started in 2019 with just one or two VM families. So there was an L series storage optimized VM. There was a HPC optimized instance. And we were available in just a few regions selectively. So you really kind of had to try hard to look for the particular region and the particular VM type that you could get from AMD. And we appreciated that, and we got a lot of adoption from that. But now we're much more pervasive in Azure. We have 40 total VM families, and we're in 58 of the 60 regions in Azure. So basically, wherever you deploy your Azure virtual machines, you have an option for AMD. And the simple kind of heuristic there is look for the A in the name of the VM, and you'll find that it's an AMD offering. So with that, I'm actually going to invite Stefanie, who's on the product team at Microsoft, to talk through some of the AMD-based offerings that are available. Some of them are new announcements, so listen up and hear some of the new features and announcements that are available together.
Thank you, Sean. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Yes, I'm very excited to talk about our newer VM families based on the AMD EPYC. And the newest families here are what we call the V6 general purpose VMs. We have the offerings in 3 different memory to core ratios. So the DAL is the 2-to-1 memory to core ratio, the DA is the 4-to-1, and the EA is the 8-to-1. And we're introducing also a new non-SMT enabled VM, which is the FA family of VMs. And those will be available also in the same 3 memory to core ratios. We also are introducing the NVMe direct technology with these VMs, so you'll see faster local storage performance. And so we have these offerings to suit a wide range of workloads. As you can see, there could be some smaller, lower memory VMs or workloads that need less memory, and then the higher memory for the databases and data analytics type applications. So we're excited about these VMs, and the GA is imminent, so we think that this will be broadly available. We'll have 7 regions at GA available for you, and you'll be able to try these out soon. And so with these new VMs, we see a tremendous increase in both performance and performance per dollar. So this was some testing across an average of 7 different general purpose workloads. So on the next slide, I'll get into the individual workloads and benchmarks that were run. But you can see that compared to our current family, which is the DA SV5, based on the Milan CPU, that we're seeing significant improvements in both performance and performance per dollar. So we have, if you look at the left side there, the DA SV5 compared to the current gen, the new DA SV6 sees like a 16% average performance per dollar improvement, as well as a 29% improvement on average in performance. And so each workload is going to see a variance of the performance, but this is just an average, so pretty significant in that sense. Also, the FA series, which is, again, no SMT, you can see that you may see an average performance of 89% increase over the V5s today. And then on a performance per dollar aspect, it's 42% higher. So there should be some significant savings by moving to these V6 VMs. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the EA series, similarly seeing good improvements both on performance and performance per dollar. So great to see that. If you want to go into the details, so we had a range of applications from web serving to databases, video coding, and enterprise applications. You can see there's significant performance across all of these, as well as cost savings. So if you're looking to save costs, these would be a great choice for you to go explore with your own workloads and see what kind of benefits you'll get. There is a broad range, of course, with any workload. So you should definitely test yours to see how it performs, and these numbers are just more kind of giving you some guidance on what you might expect. Go ahead. And then similarly on the memory optimized VMs, you'll see also really good performance uplift from our V5s today. So really, really glad to see this and excited to bring this to customers. Go ahead. And then on the FAV6, again, this is where you're going to see substantial improvement with the single-threaded capabilities. So you'll see substantial improvement, especially on the web serving, web caching. Sees a lot of performance gain and as well as cost savings. All right, and we've had over 100 customers in our preview, and we've had really positive feedback from the preview. This is just one example from 𝗬𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, which does cloud rendering, and they've seen a 42% improvement in performance in their workload. So, like I said before, each workload will see different performance gains, but we're excited to see what customers are already seeing with their own workloads. And so we also have confidential computing within Azure, and we can do confidential containers, we can do AKS, we can do a virtual desktop in confidential. Azure Databricks runs on confidential VMs. So we have a wide range of solutions running in confidential VMs today. And you can go to the next slide. And we've already announced during Ignite that we have new DC ASV6 and EC ASV6 VMs based on the 4th gen AMD EPYC processor. And there are 3 main areas where we expect to see improvements with these confidential VMs are with the performance increase, so up to 25% more performance on Windows Server 2022. We're also seeing increased security, so Windows-based security, virtualization-based security, which has the cryptographic key isolation. And then also greater regional coverage. So we're expecting this to be the broadest coverage of any confidential VM we've had to date. So this is in preview now, and you'll be able to sign up and test it out. And this is from BMW Group. They've been using Azure Confidential VMs, and it enables them to have their end-to-end encryption for their identity authentication system. So they've been able to use this to protect the data in memory, and it gives them that capability and confidence that their data is secure. The other announcement this week at Ignite was the confidential clean rooms. So this allows for multi-party collaboration, where if one party wants to use data from another party, the party with the data can control how others have access to the data, can use the data. They create a contract, and then they create the clean room where the 2 parties can access the data, and sensitive information like PII and PHI data is protected, but others can get the insights. So this can be useful for cross-company collaboration, different organizations, or even inside a company with different silos. You can have your data protected at all times and not worry about any unauthorized access or people using the data in a way that you didn't intend. So this preview is open, and you can sign up. There's a link and a QR code there for you. All right, and then finally on the storage optimized VMs, so we have our LASV3 storage optimized offering, and so we've had these in the market for a while now. So these are still delivering tremendous storage performance. As you can see, some of our customers here, Databricks, Elastic, as well as Azure Data Explorer, see tremendous improvement in the performance of their storage optimized VMs. So that is, I think, my last slide.
Excellent.
All right, now I'll hand it back to Sean. Go ahead.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Stefanie. Yeah, those are really exciting announcements. We've really come a long way with Azure to get to, with the general purpose line, the F series now with the SMT off. We're seeing more and more of this in the industry, where a physical core is a vCPU. So that's going to really help to accelerate performance and even price performance value for that particular offering. We're excited about the confidential computing offerings as kind of an evolution of security capabilities with minimal change, actually no change to your code. And you get these extra security protections, for if you have compliance, regulatory concerns, you can consider using those for your environment. So really exciting there. So what I wanted to do here was kind of turn to various scenarios for how we're seeing customers deploying these VM types. We've talked to a number of retailers who are starting to incorporate AI functionality just for competitiveness in their market, right? They're using recommendation engines, they're using chatbots, they're using all kinds of customer support opportunities using AI amongst their kind of more general purpose workloads. And so kind of calling back to these trends that we're seeing as well of this need to cost optimize, to optimize your IaaS instance fleet, that tension with the need to invest in AI. With AMD, we have the opportunity to do both, which is really exciting. In this particular scenario, we have an e-tailer who has a budget of $23 million. They have an initiative. They need to invest in transformational AI workloads, and they have pretty heavy compute requirements. They're using Redis, Java workloads, and SQL Server environments, millions of queries a day. They have thousands of instances to support this environment. And they kind of came up with a number that for their transformational AI investment, it would need to be $5 million. But they don't have that budget available now. So they need to find a way to carve money off of the general purpose fleet to be able to reinvest that for their AI workloads. So if we can move to the next slide, kind of suss this out, to play this out a little bit. On the left side, this is kind of their existing fleet of what they were using. So they on Redis, they needed 59 VMs to achieve their performance level. On their app server tier, they needed 743 VMs, and on their database tier, they needed 262 VMs. And in total, that's over 1,000 VMs for that particular environment, which totals to about $23 million. On the right side, simply by switching over to AMD-based instances, you can vastly reduce that. It goes from 1,000 VMs roughly to about 800. So shaving that down by 200 VMs, that obviously is a huge cost-saving opportunity for them. So they reduced their budget from $23 million down to about $18 million. So that frees up conveniently the extra $5 million that was needed to reinvest in AI initiatives. So they can use the heavier duty Instinct line or even EPYC CPUs for their AI needs as well. So that's an exciting example. We used it. This is for e-tail here, but really it applies to many industries, right? So these are kind of horizontal workloads that could easily take advantage of EPYC for their needs. So we can go to the next slide. And looking at AI in particular, we're seeing kind of a few trends emerge. We're seeing, again, this need to cost optimize as this left pillar has, but we're seeing this mixing of workloads, incorporating AI functionality into kind of mainstream workloads. And then we're seeing, there's a need, of course, for high performance GPU accelerated instances for kind of training and inference at large scale for very large multi-billion parameter models. So we can move to the next one here. And AMD has offerings. I won't spend a lot of time kind of pitching our products, but you're probably familiar with our Instinct and EPYC lines. Our Instinct is kind of our higher powered GPU for the largest of models that you may need. So this is for real-time kind of environments. It can be used for medium to large Gen AI models. And then kind of on the bottom side, we're seeing EPYC as a very viable option. Obviously, it's more pervasive, it's lower cost, and it's perfectly viable for small and medium models, things like summarizing meetings, or chatbots even, kind of, or offline kind of AI scenarios. EPYC is completely viable. And I actually have a couple of data points that we can look at here on the next slide, if you don't mind. First, let's go to this. So on our offerings in Azure, you may have heard of our Instinct MI300X announcement. So this is actually available in Azure today. It's super exciting in terms of the amount of memory and memory bandwidth that it offers. You can support huge models on a single VM with this. So it's unique in that it has 8 of these MI300X on a single VM. It's a very heavy-duty instance, and it can support the largest of models that you would need. And this is also supported with GPT 4.0. We have broad kind of ecosystem adoption, and this. So it's a really exciting offering for the highest of high-end GPU AI environments. So we can move to the next slide. And then more on the kind of the smaller models on EPYC, as I was mentioning before. EPYC is a really great option for things like recommendation engines for smaller natural language processing models here. You'll see there's a product called HPV4, which is an HPC-optimized VM. Uses top-of-the-line AMD EPYC processors. It has really fast interconnect speed, so it's a very high-powered product. And this delivers just excellent performance for these types of workloads. You see, we're 4x better price performance than comparable instances for a couple of these, for DLRM and Mini-LM, for example. We've done some software optimizations with Mini-LM, in particular with deep sparse models. And so we've done some optimizations. We're going to continue to do that and build that out. But even just the hardware itself, the capabilities of that make these run extremely well. And then we also have, for 𝗬𝗏𝗏 and 𝗦𝗲𝗀, just ran those on general purpose instances that you may be able to redeploy, right, from the cost savings that you get on the general purpose workloads. You can redeploy those and see, sometimes 50% better performance per dollar on those, such as with 𝗬𝗏𝗏, or with 𝗦𝗲𝗀, we see 32% better performance per dollar. So really exciting uplifts there that you could consider for these smaller models. We'll move to the next one. And one other announcement that you may have seen, it's kind of been at both the supercomputing and Ignite events, is this HPC offering, which again actually can be a very good fit for those models that I just showed. There's an instance called HBV5. So this is, it's not every day that you see a product that has a 7x improvement in memory bandwidth. So they took advantage of HBM, high bandwidth memory. They put that on the package of the processor itself, and so they have just huge amounts of memory capacity and memory bandwidth, which can play extremely well for HPC environments like computer-aided engineering, weather modeling, drug discovery, those types of things. So this is a super exciting product. It has a processor that's unique to Azure. Azure's the only one that has this today. And Azure's been just a terrific partner in this particular space at adopting our latest and greatest, really innovative processor technologies. They've adopted the 3D V-cache for predecessor generations, the V4, V3. And then with this V5 that you're seeing here, this is an HBM-enabled, super exciting part. So definitely check that out if you have HPC applications that you're running. Okay, move to the next slide. And this is kind of a little bit salesy here, but if you are interested in trying out EPYC in your environment, we have all kinds of money and programs available to help to enable you to get your environment set up. We have sales resources, we have POC programs, we have just tools, so you can go and select VMs based on AMD. We have salespeople that can help as well. So with that, I thought that we could have time for some Q&A. I know we're running a little fast, but I'd love to hear any questions you all may have about the AMD Microsoft partnership in Azure. And if you have any questions, you can come on up. If not, we can go ahead and answer them here as well afterwards. So, any questions? All righty. Well, we're here. I know we ran really fast with this presentation, but we're here. We're available to talk for the remainder of the time. If you have any questions, really appreciate the time here. And also, you should come check out our booth. If you're here, we'll be around. We have that actual MI300X that I mentioned. We have it physically here, which people love to touch. We have EPYC processors available that you can go and look at and learn more about. We have our Xilinx Alveo products as well. So a lot of physical hardware to come and touch. We have experts as well to help answer any questions. So yeah, come check us out over there as well. All right, appreciate the time. Thank you, everybody.